So I think what happens is when men or certain men, let me not say all, because I know there's a lot of men who stand on how they feel and who they are, and they don't let this industry or monetary things like compromise them.
Yeah.
I think there's some men who have such a strong ego, such a strong sense of self, where they truly believe that they can control any and everything, and that includes another man. Like again, men, we drive off of our ego. So if you're able to control another man, that almost validates you if that's what you're looking for. You get what I'm saying? If you're looking for validation, if you're looking for power, like, yeah, I
it's like what you want.
No, I
get
like
what you're saying.
I don't even know about gay, bisexual, or anything like that. I'm just going strictly off of people who are powerful and in positions of force.
Yeah.
Where you can force somebody to do things, and you prey on people in that way.
And in this scenario, you guys have probably heard of now, it's everywhere. Diddy met Cassie when she was 19.
Yeah.
So speaking to your point of wanting power over a person, 19 is a very vulnerable age.
And
he was already powerful at that point. Like,
and Diddy, right, Pierre? Diddy is still, he was 37 at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn.
And dating Kim Porter at the time.
There you go. Here's another thing that I don't hear a lot of people speaking about, but I think it's the most important piece from all of this. Diddy signed Cassie to a 10-album deal with Bad Boy. Why is that important? Because if you're signed to Bad Boy, 9 times out of 10, you're probably on a bunch of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, about what you can and cannot say about its owner and practices, anything about people related to it, etc.
Yeah.
Right? And then back to your control point, man, if I'm 19 years old and knowing that Diddy is who Diddy is, he's worked with Puff, he's worked with Biggie, he's worked with the Maces of the world, he created all of these careers, and I know that he's capable to get me in that world. Damn, first off, I'm not even knowing the back end business of maybe me being signed to 10 albums at 19. I'm just thinking like, yo, dog, I might just need to rock with whatever he's saying to get my career off the ground.
And they were saying allegedly too that the structure of that was one album a year. So basically a 10-year contract.
Think about
that.
That.
Insane.
Because I see a lot of people saying like, this came out as a civil suit. Why wasn't the criminal thing?
I could tell you that.
I mean, Pierre, if you could, yeah.
So under the New York's, it's a New York Survivors Act.
Yes.
That was instituted last year, 2022.
Yes.
Under the act, it basically gives people who were subject to sexual crimes, it gives you a year past the statute of limitations. And under that act also, you could only civilly sue the person that you're alleged conducted the crime against you. So you can't sue them criminally.
If you look a few of these things up, all the answers are there, but people don't really like the facts and shit like that. I get it. Everything else is way more salacious. So when you understand these few things and knowing like, yo, this young lady probably never felt in a position of being in control of probably her own life. I'm not saying that at 19 you maybe wanted to be around a certain lifestyle, but at the end of the day, an adult is an adult. And a child is a child, right? So whoever was around that was okay with that shit, man, you should be held accountable too.
As we're getting older, I want society standards to raise, right? And I want people to kind of use their thinking caps, and I want people to kind of use context clues, and I want people to use, just looking at what history has shown us. What I mean by that is, I think when we were young, or back in the day, before any of us were even born, right? I'm the oldest on this pod outside of Pierre. I ain't gonna tell your age. But as far as the people like in front of the camera, I'm the oldest on the pod.
That's crazy.
You just had to throw that in there.
Crazy.
Like,
nah, bro.
You could have just kept it on you the whole time.
Nah, my fault. I'm gonna keep that on.
Yeah.
That's
He
crazy.
tried to throw it on you.
My fault, gang.
SaVon might be my biggest hater.
Yo, chill.
Be your own man.
you just
Your
had
own
to get
people.
that off.
Yo, my fault, bro. But
Yeah.
I'm the oldest on this podcast, right? I was born in 94. So, like, everything prior to 1994, even 1990, the 80s, 60s, 70s, people, it was normalized to date younger. Age gaps were a lot more prominent because society didn't view it as such a bad thing. And maybe it's because of lack of education. Maybe it's because of lack of, nuance and understanding. Like, I don't think in 1960s people was acknowledging anxiety.
Not at all.
Like, it's just evolution of human.
And like what that what that age gap really does to the younger person. Like, people haven't learned as of that time, like, what the psychological effects that it can really have.
Exactly. So at those later or earlier periods, you know, I'm not gonna excuse it, but I can understand it a little bit more.
And at that time, man, we fighting for civil rights and shit. Like, it's just mad other shit going
on.
Bigger fish to fry.
Way bigger fish to fry.
Today, in 2023, 2024, whenever it is that you listen to this podcast, today, we all can look at an age gap and say, wait, this just doesn't match up.
Yeah,
also,
this might not be right.
The way that life has happened, right? Like, inflation has caused so many divisions within generations and within social constructs where somebody who's 21 today and somebody who's 41 today, they are so far apart in life, from their responsibilities to their careers, to their education, to their exposure. Like, we have divvied up so many different generations in such little time compared to, again, 40 years ago. A 40-year-old, they might have a little bit more in common with a 25-year-old because we're all just in this shit figuring it out. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. We have to, and when I say we, I mean as a society, we have to question things a little bit more. And so when you see a 40-year-old dating a 19-year-old, like, yes, that 40-year-old may be going through a midlife crisis, and yes, that 19-year-old may be a little bit naive, but I think we have to start looking at those things and start questioning those and bringing it to the light and not just accepting everything that we see. Now, I don't want to say that a 40-year-old can't fall in love with a 19-year-old. In some world, maybe it could. But me being a 30-year-old, I have nothing to talk about with anybody that's younger than 25.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Or maybe even 26, personally, for me. Right? Like, so I can imagine. And a part of me not feeling like I can talk to somebody under 25, a 4 or 5 year age gap with me, right, is because doing what it is that the three of us do, all of us are in a similar space. We're trying to build our career. We're trying to figure out what, you know, our future looks like. We're trying to balance family and social. Like, there are so many things that me approaching 30 years old cannot relate to a 21-year-old, a 24-year-old, a 20. I just can't relate. I just can't. I just can't find. I don't care. Like, I know a lot of guys, and I hate that niggas be using this line, but a lot of guys be like, you're so mature for your age.
I mean, are we not supposed to mature?
And maybe in some aspects, a younger woman or a younger person, younger guy, whoever it is, like, whatever the dynamic is, maybe they are a little bit more mature, but they can't relate to where you are in your life at 30 compared to 21. You just cannot. You cannot convince me.
It's two different things.
I'm sorry.
I'm with you, SaVon. I think a lot of those dudes are very weird, and I think they're weirdos.
And that's what we have to start saying out loud.
Weirdos.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that's why you my nigga, bro.
Come on, G. You know how we ride. We know
Because
that
there's
weird
definitely
shit.
some
Niggas is
people
weird.
in real life that we see that date like mad young girls, and we're like, what is going on here?
And their excuse is, oh, well, older man, he wouldn't want something older. Why would he want something else? You sound fucking stupid. It really sounds like when you try to talk to women that's your age, they see you as the sucker you are, so they don't give you no play. But you know what girls younger than you, you can manipulate them.
Because
that's what it is.
Yeah, yo, but you a sucker to a nigga like me. Like, you're a sucker, bro. Like, I don't find that shit fly. To SaVon's point, having things in common is very important. Like, what could you possibly have in common with this person? Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Because now it opens up more doors, man. And now that person doesn't understand that you've kind of lived your life already. So they don't know that you could possibly be trying to do something to them. They just look at you as somebody that's a little older and in their life, when in actuality, you know you're doing something. That shit is weird.
Yeah.
But you're right.